But he was really a person with insight in the science. So once there was a girl of about 12 years who got this tuberculosis pulmonary in the lungs, affected the lungs, and she was investigated by the doctors of the city, and they confirmed that it is tuberculosis fully affected, and both the lungs are affected, and she has shown all the symptoms, and the doctors advised to put her in a sanatorium and treat her with high antibiotics and anti-tubercular medicines. Then the father, he was thinking that how is there some alternative method to do this, because he didn't want her child to be over-medicated. So then he asked these top doctors, is it possible that by any other method it can be cured? Then the doctor said, if you want like this, there is one person, Ananta, so you can approach him. We know that he can cure definitely without this medication. So then this man, this father, he was a renowned lawyer of that place. So he came to my grandfather. This was not known by me, because that time my father himself was young. In that times. So they came to my grandfather. So my grandfather examined. Examined means not any investigations. His diagnosis was very wonderful. First thing is, he used to just few seconds hold the pulse and talk to the patient, and his vision is such a vision, he can identify where the problem is. And then he said, yes, what the doctor said is correct, her both lungs are affected. So then the father of the girl asked, sir, I don't want to over-medicate my daughter, can you treat her? He said, yes, I will treat her, but you have to follow my instructions. And I know when to give some medicine. If I don't give medicine also, you don't be panicked. Then father said, okay, whatever you do, we will follow your instruction. Then my grandfather, he knew many places there, so he could remember that there are two particular trees, two trees of the same. I will show you the tree. We have also that tree in our ashram. There are huge trees. No, another tree I will show you. It is called Kadamba. And so he could remember, he went to another big house, a big compound with trees that belongs to another lawyer who is also a friend of this lawyer. So these big trees are there. My grandfather could identify this, and he asked this fellow, can you give some leaves of these trees, because the daughter of your colleague is suffering, so I want this for treatment for 40 days. Then he said, if you every day you take the leaves for 40 days, my trees will die. And my grandfather said, you don't need to give the leaves, you just allow that I place this girl under the trees for the 40 days. If that is so, okay, he said. No damage to the tree, okay. So what my grandfather did was, he said, he told the father, this is a course for 40 days, so don't worry. No need for investigations before that. I will tell you when you can make investigations for your daughter. Because the father was curious. In a few days, we must make blood test or this. He said, no need for all these things. I will tell you. So he made this girl to sit under one tree, because one tree was towards the east and another tree towards the west in that compound. So he made this girl to sit under the tree by the time of sunrise so that the sun's rays will pass through this tree on this girl. And he made her to sit for a few hours and to breathe this breeze under this tree. And in the evening, he used to make her sit on the other tree at the time of sunset, so that the rays of the sun at that time will fall from the tree on this girl and breathe this. And the father was looking curious, what medicine he will give. He has not given any medicine. He only prescribed some food, some ideal food, some dry fruits, some ideal food from cereals and some rice and these things. And the girl is having fever also, because continuously fever, coughing, both lungs are affected by tuberculosis, and spitting out and the phlegm, but all these things. And then what he used to do, he has taken a copper vessel, a copper, like a tumbler, and put fresh water. In the morning he used to put some leaves of eagle folia, that is called bilva, which we have. I have shown you also this tree. We have these trees. So he used to put some 2 or 3 leaves in this water in the morning and keep it. And in the evening, take out this water and ask her to drink. And then take away this and again wash this. Put some more fresh water. And in the evening, he used to put the leaves of ocimum. Ocimum sanctum. Tulasi. It's called tulasi. A few leaves. The whole night, the leaves will be in the water. In the morning, when she is going to sit under the other tree, to drink this water. This is the only medicine he has given. Yes. And the father was waiting when this fellow will give medicine. Because the doctor said she should be given antibiotics and anti-tubercular medicines and heavy medication. Here he has not given any medicine at all. So the father was a bit afraid. Yes. But gradually the father found that his daughter is getting better and better. So 40 days, the same thing. Most of the time, only during midday he used to ask them to take her home. In the morning and evening should be under these trees. Yes. And after 40 days, then he said, show these doctor fellows and ask them to test. They made all investigations and confirmed that she has no tuberculosis at all. Finish. He was spending time with her. My grandfather, just not only leaving her, he was spending time with her and saying some good words to her, giving courage, encourage her, and also make her listening some mantras from the normal Vedic mantras, like Rudra Sukta and these things. She was made to listen to this and a good music, just divert her mind, not to have any negative thinking. 40 days, after 40 days, nothing. And then he prepared some Ayurvedic tonic and said, you can give this tonic for a month or so. Only food, and this is the treatment. And these doctors, they knew him. That is why the doctor said that is a very strange fellow. We don't know that how he heals, but we know that he can heal when we fail. These doctors. Even the doctors, for their families, he used to come to him. For their... There was a lady who was a gynecologist, very famous, and her husband is a cardiologist at that time. At that time, specialists were very few. So he was a cardiologist, husband, and wife is a gynecologist. And for their whole family, whatever they have, they used to come to him. They don't use their medicines. They used to come to him. You know, one night, middle of the night, the daughter of these doctors, mother is gynecologist, father is cardiologist, the daughter, who was of about 10 years, suddenly she woke up from sleep and said, "Oh, I have terrible pain." Terrible pain, she was screaming. And the father and mother, they wanted to give some medicine, but they were afraid that because they are specialists of heart and specialists of gyne, this is not gynec, not heart problem. So they want to take her to another. This girl said, "I don't want to go anybody, please take me to the grandfather." She firmly said, "I don't want you to give a medicine, I don't allow you to give medicine, I don't allow you to take me to any other doctor, I only come to the grandfather doctor." She used to call him grandfather. "So I want to, please take me to him." So the midnight she brought her to our house, to grandfather. I was with the grandfather, with my grandfather from childhood. So they came, knocked at the door. My grandfather opened the door. They said, "This is the problem. What should we do?" My grandfather said, "Sit calmly, I will do whatever to be done." And he was talking to this girl. Just he was talking, and already by looking at him, she was a little bit better. And something is, and then he just examined, and then suddenly he caught her at one point in the stomach, and talking to her, he pressed. Slowly, he pressed. And a few minutes after, the pain completely gone. He was holding like this and pressing for a little while, and after that the pain is completely gone. The father and the mother, who were gynecologist and cardiologist, what is this fellow is doing? And then the girl was calm and she was smiling. And then the doctors asked, "Sir, what did you do? What is your diagnosis about this? What you are doing? What the treatment you did? It is mysterious for us." Then he smiled and said, "She is having a big tapeworm, a big worm with big head, and this is the head of this is located here. I caught hold of the head and crashed the head of this. And after going home, you can give some pill from your medicine. Tomorrow morning she will pass in the stool and you will see." And this was unbelievable for them. So after going home, she slept, and the morning passed the stool, a big worm with crushed head. Exactly, the head was crushed. Then this husband and wife, they came back to him and said, "How can we understand you? Are you a normal human being or some superhuman or something?" He said, "I am a normal being like you," he said. "Only with little more common sense than you." Little more common sense than you, he said. He said, they asked him, are you a normal human being or some superhuman? We could not understand because we are doctors. And he already worked in England, and there he came specialist. He said, we could not understand how you could know this, how you could do this. We could not understand it. What are you? He said. Then he said, I am a normal human being like you, with little more common sense than you. No medicine and no machines to diagnose. How can you see that the worm is moving? They said, you fellows, you just use your common sense. So, this was his type of treatment. Yeah. There are so many incidents like this. He was the man. I have never seen any fear in him. No fear. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. His way of treatment was like that. The grandmother of this previous girl who was treated under the tree, she was having paratyphoid. That is how they came into contact with my grandfather. This girl who was treated by keeping under the tree, this previous girl, her grandmother was, she suffered from paratyphoid.
Which typhoid?
Paratyphoid. It was very long period of typhoid and made complicated by medication. So it was more than 40 days that she was already on the bed, and temperature was always high. They gave all the strong medicines, but the temperature could not come down. She could not have sleep, insomnia, total insomnia, no appetite, no digestion, no stool. She was so weak and completely on the bed. And these doctors were giving this medicine, that medicine, makes investigations. Nothing happened. And then this husband of this lady, he was fed up and he said, you are all very eminent doctors of this city, but you could not do anything. Please tell me something what I can do. Then they said, no, there is one person, perhaps he can do it. So through them he came to my grandfather. And my grandfather went there to see her, examined her and said, okay, I will take up the treatment, but you should exactly follow what I say. You should not interfere with me. That is what he said. Okay. Then he said, first you apply ghee, cow's ghee to her body. But medicine, he said, don't ask anything. You do what I say, he said. To the whole body, cow's ghee from top of the head until toe. You apply this with ghee. So they have applied this ghee. And he asked her to take 1 or 2 spoons of the ghee to eat also. And you are surprised, what is this? Eating the ghee and no medicine. So she was asked. And then he told them, you take some warm water and ask her to have a shower. After 45 days of high temperature, and so you want her to take a shower? He said, yes, don't worry, I am here to give her, wash her. Not for a long time, but quickly. He said, finish. And then she asked her, what do you want to eat? She said, if you permit me, I want to eat at least a handful of rice with some pickle, mango pickle. And everybody was shocked. My grandfather said, bring the mango pickle, keep before her. and bring the rice, keep before her. And she said, you eat whatever you want. She took some pickle, some rice. But the whole inside will be burning because for 45 days now food, and then she has only taken little with ghee. And she said, enough. Okay, he said. After 10-15 minutes, then she said, I am feeling sleepy. Am I allowed to sleep? Yes, he said, you can sleep. And they were shocked because she could not sleep with tranquilizers also. So far, for all this last more than 1 month, she has no sleep. She could not sleep with the medication also. Now she asks that she wants to sleep. And the husband was asking, what about medicine? My grandfather said, you keep quiet. I know when you hear. And told her, you can sleep. And she went into sleep, very deep sleep. 1 hour, 2 hours, she has not awakened. The fellows were thinking that she might have gone. She continuously slept for 10 hours. Continuously. My grandfather said, don't disturb her. Let her sleep. And after 10 hours, she woke up and said, I feel quite well now. I feel quite well now. So then my grandfather said, now I go home, because he was there all the time, because the fellows were afraid. Yeah. Then he said, now I go home, tomorrow I will come and treat you. But what about medicine? Stop, I said. Already you have made so much of medication. You want me to over-medicate her? Stop. He said, stop all the medicines, throw them out. And then he went home. Next day he came, and again the same process he repeated.
So all the
Application of ghee and giving some ghee, some warm water wash, and then little food, little by little food. And after 3 days and 4th day, the temperature came gradually down. On 5th day, it came to normal. No medicine. Temperature came to normal. She had normal stool. Appetite started. Normal sleep. Everything came to normal. And the doctors were shocked. What? And the husband was asking, when will you give medicine? I know when to give you medicine. You just follow me. So for 1 week, the same procedure, no medicine. After 1 week, then he has prepared some Ayurvedic with the herbs and tonic and gave it to her. And after another 1 week, she was quite normal, quite healthy, and no sign of any sickness anymore. No sign of sickness. And all the doctors, they came and met him. You are a tremendous fellow. What you are? We know many other Ayurvedic doctors also, not all like you, but you have not given medicine. And without medicine you could cure this, which we could not do that. My grandfather said, you always forget about the vital force. You have to increase her vital force and make strong her immune system. All the medicines you have given have destroyed her immune system. You are working in the opposite direction. That is why you could not bring her. Now what I did is to revive her vital condition, vital force, and the vital force will take care of her. With ghee. So in those days he was so famous. Doctors and everybody, when they have some very critical case, then said, it is not our case, go to Ananta. This was healing. Yeah.
But you know it.
In referring above to the centers, I am referring to the center for the distribution of the life force. wherein the emphasis for the mass will be found. So the life force, distribution of the life force. From the above, it will be apparent where the emphasis of the possible cure will have to lie. Already, and because it is the latest, and therefore the least deep-seated of the three major diseases inherited by modern man, we have learned how to cure tuberculosis. So it has been discovered that sunshine, good food could cure, or at any rate arrest the disease. You see, now in the present time, in all the countries without exception, and recently in our country also, many people, commonly there is a depletion of vitamin D, vitamin D. You see, many people now, when you make the investigation of their blood, there is a large deficiency of vitamin D. And the doctors automatically, you see, they prescribe pills with vitamin D. But when you give pills of vitamin D, what happens is only it shows normal level in the blood as long as you are taking the pill. When you stop this taking, again this deficiency. So it is not a solution. What I am doing is, when we get, I am making the patient to sit in the early morning in the sunshine, in the early rays of the sun, because vitamin D can be absorbed from the sun's rays. Why many people are getting depleted is because they don't wake up by that time, and afterwards also they don't work in the sun. They sit inside their rooms with air-conditioned rooms. All the time they are with the computers and all this software, and hours they sit inside in the office and also at home. They have air conditioning at home, air conditioning at office, air conditioning in their car, so their body is never exposed to the sunshine. So that is the thing.
We also need some vitamin D. When you go outside?
Yeah, I am always exposed outside, no problem for me. I have no vitamin deficiency so far, never. Because we have natural source of vitamins. For example, when you take honey every day, with a good combination of honey and citron, what we are drinking every morning, so that has vitamin C, vitamin B, vitamin B12 and all these things in that. So natural source, and sun's light, especially sun, and you should not be tempted to be in the artificial atmosphere. Artificial atmosphere. The air conditioning is artificial. I don't prefer, and I don't put myself into air conditioned rooms. I can bear the extremities better than, because if once your body is habituated to this, then you can never have the power of resistance to any of these things. You are in that. So therefore, it is an interesting item in the field of esoteric correspondence that just as the light of the soul pouring into the mind can be depended upon to solve any problem, so that light of sun and its prophylactic rays can dispel dread symptoms of tuberculosis. That is what I told you. about the treatment what my grandfather has given to the girl.